Let's begin by getting honest, brutally honest. Life is hard. Not just for a few, not just for the unlucky, not just for the ones who seem to have it rough, for everyone. Struggle isn't a sign that something's wrong with you. It's a sign that you're in the middle of the human experience. And I need you to hear this. Your struggle is not your shame. It's your evidence. Evidence that you're still showing up, still standing, still breathing, still trying. But let's be real. We live in a world that glorifies perfection. Everyone's polishing up their highlight reel, filtering out the mess, hiding the moments that actually make them strong. And we've bought into this idea that our worth is tied to how smooth we can make things look. That's a lie. The mess is the truth. The cracks are where the light gets in. If you're in a season of pain, if life feels heavy, if your heart feels tired, let me say this as clearly as I can. There is nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're becoming. That pit you feel in your stomach, that weight on your chest, that's not weakness. That's a sign that you care, that you're in the arena, that you're trying to do something brave with your life. And of course, when we're in the middle of the storm, it's tempting to believe we're alone in it, that everyone else has it figured out, that you're falling behind. But the truth is, we're all just walking each other home, quietly carrying pain, doubts, fears, pretending we're fine. So here's the invitation: stop pretending, not for the world, for you. Because real strength doesn't come from hiding your struggle. It comes from owning it, from looking it in the face and saying, you don't get to define me. That's what courage looks like. Not pretending everything's okay, but showing up even when it's not. Some of you have been walking through something for a long time. Maybe it's burnout. Maybe it's grief. Maybe it's a string of failures that's got you questioning if you even have what it takes anymore. Let me tell you something you already know deep down. The struggle doesn't disqualify you. It qualifies you, because people who've never struggled don't know how to build anything that lasts. It's the ones who fought through hell who know how to lead, how to serve, how to love with depth, how to show up when it counts. Struggle teaches you things ease never could. It humbles you. It sharpens you. It burns away what's not real. It makes you pay attention to what matters. And I know when you're deep in it, when you can't see the way out, it feels like a burden you'll never put down. But I promise you, the strength you're building right now will serve you in ways you can't even imagine yet. Not just for you, for the people who are watching you, learning from you, depending on you, even when you don't know it. You are someone else's permission slip. Someone's waiting to see if you're going to keep going, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Your willingness to face your struggle might be the very thing that gives them the courage to face theirs. So instead of hiding the parts of your life that feel broken, bring them into the light. There's no power in pretending. There's power in owning the truth. All of it. And I'm not talking about venting or overshowering. I'm talking about radical honesty with yourself. Can you admit what hurts? Can you stop numbing it? Can you stop running from it long enough to hear what it's trying to teach you? You see, pain doesn't show up without a message. Sometimes the message is slow down. Sometimes it's let go. Sometimes it's you've outgrown this version of yourself. And yes, sometimes the message is get back up, because you're not done yet. I don't know what your struggle looks like right now, but I know this: it's not here to destroy you. It's here to develop you. And the fact that you're still standing, maybe bruised, maybe tired, maybe unsure, means you're stronger than you think. You don't need to have it all together. You just need to keep showing up. That's where strength begins. We've all had those moments where we look at the mess around us. Maybe it's your job, your relationships, your health, your past, and we ask, why me? It's a natural question. When life starts to unravel, when the weight feels unbearable, that question just rolls off our lips without even thinking. But here's the truth. Why me? Keeps you stuck. It locks you in the story of what happened to you instead of waking up to what can happen through you. If you want to turn struggle into strength, that question has to evolve. It has to become, what now? Because the moment you shift from why to what now is the moment you reclaim your power. That shift in mindset, it doesn't solve everything overnight, but it does something far more important. It hands the steering wheel back to you. It puts you back in the game. You stop being a passive observer of your life and you start being an active participant in your own transformation. Most people think strength is about muscles or toughness or bravado, but real strength, lasting strength, starts in the mind. It starts with the decision to believe that this challenge, this pain, this storm is happening for a reason bigger than what you can see right now. The struggle might not be your fault, but the mindset you choose next, that's on you. And listen, I'm not talking about toxic positivity. I'm not saying slap a smile on your face and pretend everything's fine when it isn't. That's not strength. That's denial. What I'm talking about is the kind of mindset that allows you to stand in the fire and say, I'm not leaving empty-handed. I will not waste this pain. That's a warrior's mindset. That's how strength is forged. You ever notice how easy it is to believe the worst about yourself when things fall apart? One failure, one setback, one hard season, and suddenly your mind starts writing a story. I'm not good enough. I'm not capable. I'll never get out of this. That voice, that harsh inner critic, it shows up loud and early. And if we're not careful, we start believing it's telling the truth. But here's what I need you to hear. Your mindset is not the voice in your head. Your mindset is the narrator you choose to be. You can't always control the storm, but you can control the story you tell yourself while you're in it. You can say, I'm stuck. Or you can say, I'm learning. You can say, this is the end. Or you can say, this is a chapter. Not the whole book. That's power. That's ownership. Every strong person you admire, every leader, every champion, every survivor, they didn't avoid struggle. They learned how to think through it differently. They got curious instead of bitter. They asked better questions. Not, why is this happening to me? But what is this trying to teach me? And that one shift, that one internal pivot, unlock something unstoppable in them. Sometimes we wait around for motivation, thinking that once it shows up, then we'll take action. But the truth is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. If you rely on motivation, you'll only show up when you feel like it. And that's not how strength is built. The mindset that transforms lives isn't about waiting. It's about choosing. Choosing to show up, choosing to get uncomfortable, choosing to believe that your current struggle has something valuable inside it, something that will shape the future version of you. You want to be strong. You want to rise. Then start with your mind. Start by interrupting the stories that keep you small. Stop feeding the fear. Stop feeding the doubt. Start choosing thoughts that fuel your growth. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop surrendering your mind to the same old scripts that keep you stuck. Every time you get up one more time, then you fall. Every time you decide to try again when it would be easier to quit. Every time you push through even when no one's clapping. That's mindset. That's mental grit. That's what strength actually looks like. You don't build an unshakable life by avoiding struggle. You build it by shifting the way you meet your struggle. That shift, that moment when you decide that your response matters more than the obstacle, that's where everything begins to change. Strength starts in the mind. Choose it now. You know, we spend so much of our lives trying to avoid pain. We dodge discomfort. We run from anything that feels too heavy, too hard, too uncertain. But let's just take a breath and get real for a second. Pain is part of the process. Struggle pain, adversity, they're not detours from the path. They are the path. They're not interruptions to your story. They're where the story begins to matter. And I get it. Pain feels like the enemy. It feels unfair. It feels like something to escape. But what if it's not here to break you? What if it's here to build you? What if the very thing you're trying to avoid is the thing that will unlock everything you've been waiting for? Pain has a purpose, but only if you let it. It's a teacher, a revealer. It strips away the surface and exposes what's real, what's true, what you're made of. You can't fake your way through pain. It's raw, it's humbling, and when you face it, really face it, it has the power to transform you in ways comfort never could. The truth is, pain demands a response, and here's where your power comes in. You can let it bury you, or you can let it build you. You can let it define your limits, or you can use it to push right past them. You can numb it, avoid it, suppress it, or you can rise from it. You get to choose that choice. That's where your strength begins. When you stop asking, how do I get out of this? And start asking, what can I get out of this? That's the moment pain stops being the enemy and starts becoming the fuel, because pain will shape you one way or another. It will either shrink you or stretch you. It will make you bitter or it will make you better, but it won't leave you unchanged. And if you're willing to lean into it, not to wallow in it, but to listen to it, there's something inside it for you. Clarity, grit, compassion, drive, power. Some of the strongest people you know didn't get there by coasting through life. They were forged in fire. They were broken open by life and then rebuilt stronger, wiser, deeper. Not in spite of their pain, but because of it. Think about that. What if the pain you're carrying right now is the beginning of your power story? What if the very thing you hate going through is going to become the thing that makes you unshakable, that makes you real, that gives you the voice, the heart, the fire you'll need for what's coming next? This isn't about romanticizing struggle. I'm not saying pain is easy or pretty or something to seek out. What I'm saying is stop wasting it. Stop running from it. Because the longer you pretend it's not there, the longer it owns you. But the second you face it, look it in the eye and say, all right, what are you here to teach me? That's the second you take your power back. And here's the truth most people won't say out loud. There's strength in the scar. There's power in the wound. Not because it didn't hurt, but because you healed. And that healing, that is strength earned, not borrowed. That's the kind of strength no one can take from you because you built it. You fought for it. You earned it in the dark when no one was watching. So use your pain. Dark when no one was watching. So use your pain. Let it wake you up. Let it fuel the fire. Let it remind you that you're still alive, still in the fight, still becoming. There is no shame in having struggled. The shame is in letting that struggle go to waste. You want to be powerful. Start with your pain. Let it be your reminder. Let it be your firewood. Because every time you choose to rise instead of retreat, to feel instead of numb, to grow instead of shrink, you are becoming the version of yourself you were always meant to be. This pain right here, right now, it's not a punishment. It's a spark. Let me tell you something that might sting a little bit. No one is coming to save you. And I don't say that to discourage you. I say it to free you. Because the second you stop waiting for someone else to fix it, to notice, to rescue you from your struggle, that's the second you remember just how much power you've had in your hands all along. There's something liberating about full ownership, about taking full ownership of your life. I'm not talking about blaming yourself for things that weren't your fault. I'm talking about standing up and saying, this is my life. This is my challenge. And no one's going to do it for me, but I'm strong enough to do it myself. That kind of ownership is rare. It's uncomfortable. It means no more excuses. It means no more hiding behind circumstances or other people or your past. It means showing up for yourself, whether you feel like it or not. Because if you're always waiting to feel ready, you'll wait forever. Strength isn't about waiting for permission. It's about giving yourself the green light. It's about acting even when you're scared, even when you're tired, even when everything in you is whispering, maybe tomorrow. You don't need more motivation. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to start one small step, one hard choice, one moment of courage. That's how momentum is built. That's how confidence is earned. Not by thinking, not by planning, but by doing. And look, I get it. It's easier to scroll. It's easier to complain. It's easier to convince yourself that now's not the time. But all of that comfort costs you something. It costs you progress. It costs you clarity. It costs you your own power. And eventually, it costs you the life you could have lived if you just decided to take action. You want to build strength, take ownership. You want to rise, take action. Even if it's messy, even if it's slow, even if no one understands what you're doing or why you're doing it. Because action is the bridge between struggle and strength. And no one can walk that path for you. And don't fool yourself into thinking you need massive change overnight. That's not how growth works. You build a strong life the same way you build a strong body. Repetition, daily decisions. You wake up and you choose to show up. You do the hard thing even when it's boring. You keep going when no one's cheering. That's where strength is formed, in the daily grind, in the moments when quitting would be easier, but you keep going anyway. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you're casting a vote for the person you're becoming, and enough votes in that direction. That changes the whole trajectory of your life. You start to trust yourself more. You start to believe that maybe, just maybe, you can do hard things. And that belief, that inner trust is everything, because when life hits you hard, when the struggle gets heavy, you need to know that you've got your own back. You need to be able to look in the mirror and say, I might not have all the answers, but I'm not quitting on myself. And listen, taking ownership doesn't mean doing it all alone. It doesn't mean pretending you're fine when you're not. It means choosing to move forward, even if you need help. Even if you're scared, even if you're crawling instead of walking. It means the responsibility for your next step is yours and yours alone. The world will always give you reasons to wait, to stay stuck, to stay small. But you don't need the world's permission. You don't need a sign. You don't need everything to be perfect. You just need the courage to begin. It's easy to wish things were different. It's easy to say, if only I had more time, more support, more talent. But that thinking keeps you powerless. You have what you need to begin. You have the ability to take one step. And one step is enough to start the fire. You're not weak because you're struggling. You're not failing because it's hard. You're human and you're capable. And you've made it this far for a reason. So stop waiting for someone to choose you. Choose yourself. We live in a world obsessed with outcomes, obsessed with results. We chase the end game, the promotion, the transformation, the applause. And somewhere along the way, we forget that the real magic doesn't happen at the finish line. It happens in the process. It happens in the unseen, unsexy, uncelebrated moments where most people would get up, but you don't. It's easy to get caught in this trap where you think strength is only measured by how fast you get there or how impressive the result looks from the outside. But I'll tell you the truth most people won't say out loud. Strength isn't about the win. It's about who you become while you're working toward it. It's in the struggle, the repetition, the discipline. That's where character is built. That's where your power grows. We all want transformation, but nobody wants the process. We want the body, but not the workout. We want the success, but not the sacrifice. We want the confidence, but not the consistent action it takes to earn it. And yet, the process doesn't just prepare you for the destination. It is the destination. Because once you fall in love with the process, you become unstoppable. Think about it. The process is where you build the habits. It's where you learn the lessons. It's where you prove to yourself day in and day out that you can be trusted with your own life. It's where you show up when no one's watching. It's where you get knocked down and learn how to stand up stronger. That's not weakness. That's not failure. That's training. That's growth. That's the exact furnace where strength is forged. But here's the catch. The process doesn't always feel good. It's repetitive. It's slow. It's full of days where nothing seems to be changing. You do the work and the reward doesn't show up right away. That's where most people quit. That's where the voice in your head says, what's the point? And that's the exact moment when your breakthrough is closer than you think. You have to be willing to keep going without the guarantee of immediate results. That's what separates strong people from the rest. They've made peace with the process. They've accepted that excellence isn't built in inspiration. It's built in consistency. And that consistency, that's a choice, not a mood, not a feeling, a decision. When you commit to the process, you stop tying your worth to the outcome. You start showing up because that's who you are, not because of what you'll get. And when that shift happens, something incredible takes place. You stop fearing failure. You stop obsessing over comparison. You stop waiting for the finish line to feel proud of yourself. You find pride in the process because let's be honest, life always going to reward you right away. Sometimes you'll put in the work and the results will lag behind. Sometimes the people around you won't notice. Sometimes the world won't clap. If you're only driven by recognition, you'll burn out. If you're only chasing outcomes, you miss the lessons that were meant to shape you. True strength is measured by what you do after the excitement fades, after the motivation disappears, after things get quiet and hard and ordinary. That's when you find out what you're really made of. That's where you become someone you respect. It's not about being the most talented. It's about being the most committed. It's about deciding, I will keep showing up even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when it feels like nothing's happening, because you know deep down that something is happening inside you, around you, underneath the surface. The process is never a waste. Every rep, every rejection, every failed attempt is doing something. It's strengthening you in ways that the end result never could. And when you finally get there, wherever there is, you'll look back and realize that the destination was never the point. The point was who you became on the way. So if you're in the middle of the grind, if you're tired, if you're wondering if any of it matters, don't stop. Don't underestimate the power of small steps taken over and over again. This is the work that changes you. This is the part that makes the result worth it. Fall in love with the process and the strength you build will never leave you. We always think we have more time. We convince ourselves we'll start when it's the right season, when we feel ready, when things settle down, when we've got more clarity. But here's the brutal truth. There is no perfect time. There's only now. Now is all you've ever had. Now is all you ever will have. And yet, so many people are stuck living in the someday. Someday I'll leave that job. Someday I'll start the project. Someday I'll get serious about my health, my dreams, my purpose. But someday is the most dangerous word in the English language because it's just another way to avoid today. We act like we're waiting for a sign, a green light, some magical signal that tells us it's safe to begin. But that sign isn't coming. And deep down, you already know what you need to do. You're just waiting for the fear to go away first. But here's the thing, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that something matters more. And you matter more. Your life, your voice, your vision, it all matters more than your fear. But you don't get to find out what you're capable of by waiting. You find out by moving. The most powerful people you'll ever meet didn't wait until they felt ready. They started when it was messy, when it was confusing, when they didn't have the answers, because they understood something that changes everything. They understood that action creates clarity. Movement builds momentum. Forward is the only direction that counts, and when you step forward even just a little, even just one decision at a time, you begin to reclaim your life. You begin to remember who you are. You stop living in reaction to your past and start designing your future. But here's the key: you have to stop negotiating with your potential, stop bargaining with your greatness. Stop saying, "I'll give it everything once things feel easier." You'll be waiting your whole life. The moment is now. Not when you feel motivated. Not when someone gives you permission. Not when the fear disappears. Now, because the truth is your window isn't guaranteed, life is short, and time doesn't pause while you hesitate. You don't get to decide how much time you have, but you do get to decide how you use the time you've been given. And the cost of waiting, it's not just lost opportunity, it's a slowly shrinking version of yourself. It's the pain of watching your potential gather dust because you were too afraid to activate it. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can change that right now. You don't have to know exactly how it's going to unfold. You just have to begin. Begin before you're ready. Begin while you're scared. Begin when it feels inconvenient. The most powerful move you can make is to start anyway. And listen, this isn't about being reckless. It's about being real. It's about deciding that your time, your voice, your calling is worth something today, not in some far-off version of yourself, but right here, right now, as you are. Flawed, healing, becoming. You've come through struggle. You've survived storms. You've rebuilt after breaking. That's not by accident. That's because there's something in you that refuses to give up. Something in you that knows this moment matters. That knows you matter. So don't wait. Not another day, not another hour. Not for someone's approval or the right mood or the perfect plan. Life is happening now, and you've got what it takes to rise to this moment, not later. Now, this is your time.